During COVID, I would stream for 12 hours a day and study for 10 hours, which seems kind of ridiculous to a lot of people. But to me, it wasn't that ridiculous, you know. What finally worked for me was...
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new on the channel, I make videos to help you optimize your life. Every so often, I get to do these interviews where I can interview high performers and outliers so that you can implement their strategies into your own life. So previously, I interviewed Ruri Ohama, who you might be familiar with, but this time I'm interviewing James Scholz, who's a super unique productivity YouTuber. During the pandemic, he actually live streamed himself studying for 12 hours a day, every single day for over a year. And he wasn't just scrolling on YouTube, you could actually see what was on his computer, which I don't think anybody else has done on YouTube. Like, there are streams where you see people working or study within streams, but I don't think there's anybody that actually showed proof that they were actually studying for 12 hours a day for over a year. And you can see that all on his channel. One thing that makes him super unique as a productivity YouTuber is that he likes to use all this retro tech. Not only does he use a dumb phone, but he also uses a retro looking computer and camera. And when you watch his videos, it just looks like it's some other period of time. It feels like you're being transported to a different era. In the podcast, I got to ask him about his personal productivity routine, his philosophy on building discipline, breaking social media addiction, journaling, and even building a YouTube channel. I'll have timestamps of everything we talked about if you want to skip around, but hope you enjoyed the podcast. All right, James, can you give us a quick background of who you are and where you're at today?
Yeah, man. My name is James Scholz. I'm primarily known online for my YouTube channels. I have a few, probably too many, but I finished university, graduating with a degree in computer engineering, and I'm currently kind of just doing my own thing. I graduated and then drove around America for like 2 months, and then drove to Canada, and then was in England for a long time shooting a movie, and now I'm back and I'm just kind of playing a lot of sports and working out and reading a lot, so and focusing on my own companies, you know, outside of YouTube.
Nice. Yeah, definitely want to get into all that. But yeah, one of the things I'm curious about, like on your channel, you talk about productivity and digital minimalism. And you've also like shared different parts of your routine. Like there was a period where you woke up at 3:30 a.m. and there's a period where you worked for like 12 hours a day. So I'm really curious, like right now, what does your daily routine look like these days? Like, when do you wake up? How much do you work? And what are you optimizing for?
Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, I used to wake up pretty early, like 3:33 a.m. During COVID, I would stream for 12 hours a day and study for 10 hours, which seems kind of ridiculous to a lot of people. But to me, it wasn't that ridiculous, you know. I was working as an undergrad researcher doing 4 hours, 20 hours a week, and then studying Japanese 2 hours a day, and then listening to lectures. As a computer engineering student, that takes up a fair amount of time, doing readings, doing homework. So at least to me, like 10 hours didn't seem that unreasonable of, you know, studying. But I guess that's what people know me for now. Nowadays, my routine's a bit different that I'm graduated. Things are like in lockdown, and my workout schedule is a bit different, and I've found that waking up at the same time every single day, including the weekends, for me is rather important. I know there was a period of time where I was like mad addicted to energy drinks, and I would
really?
drink energy drinks at like, or coffee or just caffeine in general at like 10 p.m. and it would kind of wreak havoc on my sleep schedule. So nowadays, having that consistency of waking up at the same time for me is really important. And for me, the most sustainable time to wake up is about 5 a.m. So it's like about 5 to 9 is waking hours for me. And wake up, do a fair amount of work. This routine's based around the Haruki Murakami daily schedule, where he wakes up at like, starts working at 4 for like 6 hours until 10, then goes on like a 10-kilometer run or something like that, and then just listens to music and does it the rest of the day, chills the rest of the day. But yeah, so I'll wake up, work out, eat lunch, shower, and then spend the rest of my day how I please, which in general is kind of more productivity oriented. Read books, listen to music, which I guess is more of like a leisure activity. I play a lot of sports actually nowadays. I play badminton, I climb a lot, I'm on like a volleyball team with my homies, and I run a lot and I lift weights a lot. So
Is there something specific that you're optimizing for right now, or just overall this routine?
I'm kind of in a weird period in my life where I'm trying to work on becoming like I'm working on my acting career because I
Mm.
view that as like my next big venture. But my credentials, like I have a degree in computer engineering, so I kind of have to wait until this movie comes out that I'm working on to kind of solidify my like credentials. And in between that period of like waiting for this film to come out, I've just been kind of focusing on like developing good routines that I can fall back on when things get a bit crazier in my life.
Is that a movie that you are making, or you're part of somebody else's movie?
I'm acting in it, so it's someone else's movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's been in the works for like a year now. I think it's finally close. I can't say much more because the press release isn't out, but I'm really excited for it.
With this routine, like, is this a result of having tried many different productivity routines? Like, what are some productivity advice that you find actually is really helpful?
I find that most advice isn't very helpful, and it really depends on a lot of contexts. Like, I wouldn't recommend my routine to like a father of six in like,
Right.
you know, for me, this is what works. Um, I'm like a fairly young dude, and I have at this point in my time, at this point in my life, you know, a lot of free time, and I like live off of passive income, so there's a lot of freedom for me.
Yeah.
And my routine's based on like a lot of people who live off of passive income, you know.
Yeah.
So Haruki Murakami, um, of course, and I guess a few YouTubers I would say I have a similar routine to them.
Hmm. I guess, like, kind of getting into that passive income, how did you actually build that passive income? Like, what are your passive income
Yeah, so
streams?
I don't know if you've read The Almanac by Naval Ravikant.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite books.
Yeah, you know that part where he talks about like books, code, media, and videos or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, so I'm working on building those four streams, and I would say that I have videos and media done pretty well, but I'm working on the movies and the code part at the moment.
So that would be YouTube, right? Like, with a media.
YouTube, yeah, and I think I want to expand a little bit, but I'm trying to figure out what I exactly want to expand to. I'm a one man team here, so I can kind of explore
Yeah.
as I please, and there's not really much of like a financial incentive to make profits immediately, so I can experiment a lot.
Right. Yeah. One thing I'm also curious about, I want to talk to you about, is like, you talked about YouTube addiction before, and like breaking
I
that YouTube addiction.
have,
Especially,
yeah.
like, I feel like it must be especially hard as a content creator, because I feel like
hmm
for me, I can't just block out YouTube completely, because I have to at least access and upload a video. So what has been your experience with like breaking YouTube addiction, and how is it as a person that makes content?
It's an interesting position, man, being a YouTuber that doesn't really watch YouTube.
Yeah.
uh so okay, for context, I've been on this platform for a mad long time. Like I uploaded my first video in 2009. Uh so you know, that's like most of my life I've been on this fucking website, right?
Yeah.
So it's fairly deeply ingrained into me at this point. What my main I guess pitfalls are for dopamine, you know, there are different traps for people that they fall into,
Yeah.
was YouTube. Like I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't do a lot of the stuff that people are addicted to nowadays, and it was YouTube, and that was my main crutch. And I would say actually being a YouTuber has made it easier to be less addicted to YouTube, because I don't really feel as though I'm missing out on a lot of the experience that has actually added genuine value to my life. I can still watch like tutorials, and you know, I'll watch the occasional video here and there. Like I really like some book review channels. I really like some tech video channels, and those actually genuinely help me. For me, the problem was watching just like mindless content that actually adds nothing to my life, and um, just entertaining myself to death with pointless shit. And it's been an uphill battle, you know. What finally worked for me was finding the important things to me in life and focusing on those. And that took a lot of introspection and a lot of hard work. And I would say my emotional maturity has grown, and the ability to be bored has been pivotal to me. And I can now
Hmm.
focus because of that. And yeah, I would say my life in general has been much better since combating YouTube addiction, which for me was
Yeah.
primarily in high school and early college.
How do you increase your comfort with boredom, and how's it helped you with being more productive or working more?
Yeah, interesting question. It's really hard to not be bored nowadays. You know, it's not the default to be bored like it used to be, because there's so many things vying for our attention nowadays. Screens everywhere. You know, I have like 7 or 8 screens around me right now, and it's important to learn how to live with all these things beckoning for our attention all the time. Technical literacy and being able to understand how people find, or if people seem to captivate you, seems to be really
Hmm.
important. And I guess that skill set comes from like mindfulness and emotional literacy, and being able to recognize your own thought patterns and having systems in place when you do fail. I would say are really important as well.
One thing I always thought was really interesting that you use is retro tech, like a dumb phone. And I saw recently you switched to like an e-ink monitor. Do you think that helps a lot
Uh,
with that?
I would say that it like it's I don't I'm is it okay to call myself kind of weird? Um, like I have like a lot of metaphors in my head,
Hmm.
and I guess I'll explain it to you because I haven't really talked about it on my channel because I feel like it wouldn't really apply to most people. But I guess like I'm like a really big car guy, right? So I think
Hmm.
of a lot of things in terms of like cars, and for me, like the subconscious is the engine, and that's what kind of guides you, right? And that's what
Hmm.
your conscious is driving. You're like the driver, and you have the subconscious, which is the engine. And when you want to work on your car, right? I would say like your phone or the ink monitor or anything is like the garage. So
Hmm.
it's like keeps you safe from like the elements, like the rain, the storm, the snow. I don't know why I said the storm, but you know, it protects you from like a bunch of BS that's trying to impede you from working on yourself.
Yeah.
And it can enhance the ability to, it can allow you to, you know, work on it longer at night with lights and when it's the winter, you know? So I would say like most smartphones are kind of like garages, but they just have like a lot of holes in them, and they can help you, but they can also hurt you. So
Do you have like a meditation practice?
yeah. So going back to my analogy, the way I see it, it's like if you're on like you're out there racing your car or whatever, meditation is like refueling your engine, your tank with gas, and it allows you to go out there for longer. And ideally, you know, that meditation is high quality, high octane, so that you don't mess up your subconscious or whatever. So yeah, um, the way I see it, I take smaller meditation breaks throughout the day. So in the morning, midday, and at the evening, like same way you would just fill up your car throughout the day. I guess you wouldn't really do
Hmm.
that, but I guess I would, in my metaphor, I drive a lot, so I have to fill up the gas tank a lot. And I drive pretty hard, so I need to burn a lot of gas, so I need to refill a lot.
Yeah. How do you actually meditate?
I used to do guided meditation. Medito is a pretty good app and it's free. I think it's not open source, but the creators have um, committed to remaining free for as forever. But nowadays it's more like, okay, set a timer for 30 minutes.
Do you find it easy to like stick with this habit? Because I've had like periods where I'm like super consistent with it, and then also periods where I kind of
Mm.
drop off.
So, in my life, I have like 3 cornerstone habits. Like these are what I have to do every day, no matter what. And that's work out, meditate, and read. And meditating has been my hardest to keep track of. I have like a heat map over here to my side that has those 3 habits on. Um,
A heat map.
yeah, I don't know if are you a developer? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know.
I studied computer science, but I don't develop anything right now.
You know, like GitHub, like the heat map, like how
Yeah,
many
yeah.
commits. Yeah, it's just like a binary heat map, like 1 0. I like it just shows you every day, and then
Wait,
it's
wait.
like
So you made this or you?
it's a piece of software online. It's called Life of Discipline. It's like a Firebase app, and I think the developers are charging too much for the premium version, but the free version you can track up to 3 habits. So um,
Okay.
I do that, work out, meditate, read. Meditate's been the hardest, but if you just knock it out like right after taking your morning dump or something, it's like
Yeah.
get it done first thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm looking at this. This looks really cool because like I had a heat map for Anki, and that was like a primary motivator for
Yeah,
three
bro.
yeah 3 years.
Have it up in your room just so you can always see it, like
Yeah.
somewhere. Like there's like a dedicated screen, and it like it's like I don't know. It's just like hella motivating.
Well, yeah. So you have a dedicated like place in your room that
Yeah,
shows
bro.
this
It's
heat
like
map.
it's like I don't know if you can see it. It's like right there.
Oh, sick.
Just
That's sick.
off to the side, right where.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to do that. Are there
thanks, bro.
are there other apps that you use daily or you use often that is super helpful like that?
No. Just Emacs org mode, but that's not really like a super recommendable product because it's like
Right.
that niche.
So you still use a dumb phone right now?
I do use the dumb phone still. It's right here actually. Yeah. But I wouldn't say it's like necessary, bro. I had an iPhone and I was averaging like 10 minutes a day on it
Nice.
before, so it's kind of more of like just patching up the holes in my garage. It's not like I need all that other stuff anyways that the iPhone provides me.
Yeah.
So might as well just not even bother having it in the first place.
Mhm.
But I recognize that's like kind of a unique scenario where like I work for myself and I don't even like have that many friends who'd like talk to me like that, like text me all the time, because I usually just communicate like on Discord on my computer. So like not many people text me, and
Yeah.
I don't really use social media. I don't need WhatsApp to communicate with people. I've been living in the same city for 24 years and I'm really good with directions already.
Mhm.
And I know like all the business hours, and I have like the business phone of some people just saved in my head.
So no Google Maps.
The Google Maps on this doesn't work very well.
Oh.
And so I don't know. Some apps works and some apps don't work. GPS, it's weird. But
Yeah.
I actually just ordered a new dumb from China that shipped yesterday. I'm pretty excited for it. I'm gonna mod it and see if that has a working GPS module.
Is it a e-ink e-ink dumb
Nah,
phone? No.
it's not an E dumb phone. It's a Philips E6810. It's a rebranded Chin F21 Pro with like a F22 chassis. And I used to have an F21 Pro, but I didn't really like the industrial design. It looked kind of bubbly to me and poorly built.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure to have this on the screen of what you're saying.
Sorry, guys. That might have been kind of quick.
What are some of your favorite retro tech? I guess it doesn't have to be retro. Like, what are some of your favorite tech stuff that you got recently that you really appreciate? Like recently, I started using an iPod, which I really like.
Fifth gen? Is that a fifth gen?
Yeah, but it's like modded,
Yeah.
and I really like this.
The Wolfstein deck?
Yeah. What are some of your favorite tech these days that you've maybe recently got or still use a lot?
I'm really into e-ink stuff at the moment. I just find the technology super interesting and it aligns really well with my values. I would say it enables people to work better and sleep better at night and protect their eye longevity. So it's so sick. I really like this tablet I have right here actually. It's like it's from this company called Books. They're not the greatest company ever, but I think they make the best tablets for me, which is someone who's like a power user and who's been, like I've been on Android forever and I've been modding it for a long time and I'm really familiar with it.
Yeah.
And in terms of like pure hardware, I really like the design of I really like teenage engineering stuff. I think it's really neat. I think it's so pretty to look at, which is, kind of important to me.
I really like there's like nothing I need from them. No, it's like I want stuff, but they're like I'm not gonna use any of this stuff. Yeah,
it's so cool though, man. And I guess I don't know, technology is kind of a broad term. I'm really into like vintage flip clocks and stuff, but that's like not even like there's no functional utility to having a flip clock besides it looking cool.
Right.
So, you know,
With that eating tablet, do you like journal on that?
I do a lot of stuff on it, man. I probably use it for like 4 hours a day. Journaling.
Wow.
Um, I like, so what an important thing for me recently has been writing like an autobiography. And I can kind of use it as like a typewriter. I just hook up my Bluetooth keyboard to it and it works well in Microsoft Word.
Hmm.
And I use it to do Anki reviews and I read textbooks on it.
Are you actually like writing a autobiography with the intention of publishing it, or that's just how you see your journal?
That's how I see it, man. I don't think anyone else will ever read it, but it's been very enlightening and important for reflection, which I would say is a rather
Yeah.
important part of productivity and personal growth, you know, is reflection. Because if you have an experience, and even if it's bad or good, you know, you can still learn from it. So a lot of people don't seem to capitalize on that, their past experiences, regardless if it's good or bad. And at least for me, you know, I had like a fairly, I'm not going to say it was like super traumatic or anything, but it wasn't like the greatest upbringing ever. And it helped me come to terms with like a lot of things that were pretty deeply rooted in me.
So it's like you start from childhood and you start writing like in a chronological order, or do you write like today this happened?
I kind of view my life more in terms of chapters in general already. So
Yeah.
like the whole COVID thing was like a chapter, the whole high school thing was a chapter, post lockdown was a chapter, post graduation was a chapter, you know.
Yeah.
And it helps me find narratives for my life, and like here's the positives and negatives of each narrative, and this is my arc for
Yeah.
each narrative. And you know, this might be like the training arc or like the development arc, or like
Yeah, I love that. It's like living out the main character of your own anime life.
I guess, but
Almost.
it helps me be like a better person for other people too.
Yeah.
I won't say it's like I'm the main character, but it helps me be like, the way I see it, like if I can be strong enough or be capable enough to help other people, then that's the important thing at the end of the day. So
What are some of your favorite books? I know you mentioned like the Almanac of Naval Ravikant, but what other books
that was
have
a
been
pretty good
impactful?
book. I thought it would be kind of corny, but it's a pretty good book.
Yeah.
Recently my favorite book has become Stoner by John Williams. I don't know if you heard of it.
No.
It's like a fiction book. It's pretty short, and it's about this English professor in Missouri during the World War II era. And I don't know, I just found it really pretty and really moving. It's probably not the most common recommendation amongst the productivity self-help guru type genre on here on YouTube.
Yeah.
But as far as like that kind of book, I thought Michael Easter's books are pretty good. It's like he has one called The Comfort Crisis that I read recently. It was pretty relevant to my life actually. Talks about like misogis, which is like this whole concept of doing hard things that seem kind of pointless but actually help you grow, and I kind of could relate to that.
Right. Yeah, I guess like your 12-hour a day live stream is like that maybe.
Yeah, that's definitely how I related to it for sure.
Yeah. I'm curious, like, are you still able to work for 12 hours a day after stopping that live stream? Because I'm sure like just live streaming helped with accountability, because like people are looking at you and seeing what's on your screen.
I worked in a different way nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not Pomodoro. So I wouldn't do like 10 hours straight of working with no breaks. You know, I'll do 4 hours deep work and then go work out for a few hours, come back and do Pomodoro for 4 hours.
Yeah.
The output's different. So I guess like if I wanted to, I could go back to that fairly easily. I'd say my ability to focus hasn't really changed too much. And yeah, the live streaming did add like a self-accountability factor. People saw you and were like, where are you? And they rely on you. But yeah, I would encourage people to probably start a study with me stream if they're having difficulties with self-accountability.
How does somebody work without motivation? Because I feel like that's like a topic you've talked about.
Without motivation, I think everyone has some sort of motivation, but they just haven't found it. Be kind of depressing to be born with 0 goals in your life,
Yeah.
0 desires. So maybe focus on finding what you want deep down. I'm sure it's there somewhere first, and then once you orient your goals, figure out milestones for yourself, and have some level of self accountability, and realize, things aren't always going to be easy, and there are easier paths. I could totally be scrolling Reddit right now, whereas I know I should be working towards my goals, even if it's not like the most fun thing at the moment. I know in the long term, this is what I need to be doing, and this is what's fulfilling. So yeah, I think it'd be rather depressing to think that. We're human, man. We're humans.
Yeah, that makes sense. What are you motivated with right now? Like, what are your top goals that you're
My
working
goals
towards?
haven't changed. My goals haven't changed. Still trying to help people in my own way, differently this time. And I'm still, I wasn't really raised with a dad, and how I've been able to cope with that was just by focusing on developing myself so that I can one day become a better father, or like a father that, I could die and be proud of the kids I raised. And yeah, and I want to be able to retire my mom. She's worked so hard for me. She came here from Vietnam in high school and worked super hard so that I could go to like better high schools that like my cousins weren't able to go to, and was able to provide me nutritious food that I could eat after I go running, and help me out when she wasn't like always there for me, but I know she was fighting for me, so
Yeah.
she deserves the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. What, I mean, this is like a hard turn, but this is like a question I have written down. But it's like kind of related to like the tech stuff that we were talking about earlier. What are some of your best purchases under $100 that you think have like actually improved the quality of your life? Like, it doesn't have to be tech.
$100.
Yeah.
$100, man. I would say the smart bulbs in my bedroom are very useful because you can set like times for them to turn on. And I'm sure you watch Andrew Huberman, but he's all like, get sunlight in the morning, but I don't have sunlight that early. So you get the bulbs to turn on before you wake up. And it's like way cheaper than the sunrise alarm clocks that are like $100 or whatever. You can get cheap bulbs for like $15. And you can get like an e-reader for pretty cheap.
And you recommend like that one you have?
This one's not $100, unfortunately, but you can get $100 ones. You can get a used Kindle,
like a Kindle.
And you can I don't know if I should say this. You can like pirate books super easily on them.
Yeah,
so
pretty easily.
It'll pay for itself pretty quick. What else? I don't know. My channel was like built off of a $100 laptop and like a $100 camcorder that I had from high school. I would say I would say restrictions invoke creativity.
So you have 800K subs, and then you have like 200K subscriber channels. Like, what's the idea with having so many different channels?
So I started off with one channel, the James Scholz channel, and I don't know if you watched the streams, but I don't know. I just kind of lost my passion for having such like a large community. At least for me, I prefer like when I stream, like knowing regulars in the chat and like having like a conversation that spans multiple days, which I realize is asking a lot as like a streamer. But I think at the time, it's kind of, I haven't really verbalized my feelings about this, so it's kind of hard for me to explain. There are several reasons that I have several channels, and the first one, the biggest one, I've kind of abandoned. I'm thinking about bringing it back at some point, but I really want to produce like really special content on that channel, like high budget stuff that would, people would recognize that this is a different person than I was 3 years ago. That was started in 2020, and I think I stopped posting in like 2020, like end of 2021 or something like that. So forget your question, actually. I apologize.
No, I guess just like going over the reason with having different channels, but you kind of touched upon it with like trying to build a more niche, kind of a tighter
Yeah,
community, right?
it's kind of strange for a YouTuber to be like, I want less subscribers, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I guess like once like so for context, I've streamed to like 3 people for like 6 months straight. Or
Mm.
like, and these
Yeah.
are people who like I knew like we would chat after the stream and stuff, and it was mad fun during COVID. And I would
Yeah.
like enjoy their presence. Um and I think I kind of lost that as the channel grew larger. And I think like up to a point, my goal originally was I was doing this for like myself because I wanted to help other people and I found the work really fulfilling. But once like things started to grow, I found myself like I don't know, I was like, you know, I could the people I looked up to, I could become bigger than them. And
Mm.
up to that point, it was kind of scary for me because it's not really doing it for like my best interest at that point. It's kind of feeding my own ego. And I feel like that's kind of a risky game when you're like,
Yeah.
I will be better than this person versus I will be better than myself, yesterday. And
Right.
like either way, if you're comparing yourself to other people that you look up to, it's like a lose-lose. Either like you become arrogant and cocky or you become like envious and jealous. And yeah, so I decided that I need to like pivot a bit and, you know, humble myself a bit.
Yeah. One thing I like about like all your channels is that it feels really authentic and that you're never like clickbaiting people to watch a video. Like,
A little bit of
is that,
clickbait. A little bit.
oh yeah.
Just a little bit.
Actually, I've noticed like in JV Scholz, some like one of the thumbnails, or maybe like more than one, is like it that's not your desk setup, I think, in the
No,
video.
I don't know. I'm like really bad at taking thumbnails, man. So I just like, grab
Hmm.
old screenshots, and it seems to.
And it works. How does that work?
I don't know, man. Like my channel seems to defy a lot of rules I guess people have for making successful channels, but it seems to work. So I don't know.
Do you have any advice for people starting out with succeeding on YouTube?
It's a hard question, man. Because like first you have to figure out why you want to be a YouTuber. For me, it was the right choice because it allowed me to help people in my own way during the lockdown, and it was a way that I can make passive income and pay my rent while still working, which was important to me because that was my first apartment. And so like I don't know, people like nowadays a lot of kids want to be YouTubers, and I will say it's very risky in terms of like career longevity, in terms of mental health, in terms of you know um financial stability. It can be very up and down.
Right.
So yeah, first figure out why you want to do YouTube, and then you have to provide information or valuable information at the end of the day. And that can be, a variety of things. That can be humor. That can be educational content, technological content. Make sure you're providing value, and if you do provide value, make sure your audio quality is good. That's about it.
Right. So you think audio is the most important than video quality?
Definitely. Definitely, bro. If, like I watch like a video and it has like shit audio, I'm not watching it. But shit video, it's fine.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. I think a lot of people actually just listen to videos. Like I know sometimes I'm not even watching.
People just leave it in the background while like working on something, and you might pop up and surprise them somehow.
Yeah. Do you focus on the editing at all, or?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
My channel isn't, I would say, very produced. Like you said earlier, it has kind of like the more homegrown feeling to it, in which I've kind of leaned on. So for me, my channel, it's kind of important to have like, me stuttering at times or like giggling or messing up a little bit. But I could see someone like who makes very produced videos with like a large team editing that kind of stuff out, and that works for them. So play to your strengths. It can be either or. Just if you're like a super professional video guy and you're like stuttering every 3 seconds, and
right,
that's not very, yeah.
And I guess like with the passive income side, how do you actually monetize your channel? Is it with AdSense, or I don't see you like taking on many like
Yeah.
sponsors, if any.
It's a weird story, man. I took on one sponsor a few years ago, and I really did not enjoy the experience. I felt kind of dirty accepting money for a product that I really didn't know too much about, so I just stopped. I was like, this is not me. I know that's how most YouTubers make a majority of their income. For my
Yeah.
channel, I don't even leave video ads on like half of my videos because they're like study with me. And if like someone's studying and then like a video starts playing, then that's just like a worse experience for the person I'm trying to like, help. So most of my videos just have banner ads, and that's been enough for me. I probably make like 1/10 of what I could be making, 1/15 to be honest. I know you interviewed another half Asian on your channel. I talked to Ruri before, and she makes like a boatload of money. So
Yeah.
I don't make anywhere near that. I sell my own stuff.
What do you sell right now?
I'm selling a planner, and it did well for me. $7 a unit, and I think I sold a few thousand or something. So, and for me, I can feel proud of the thing I'm selling, and it aligns with the people who watch my videos, and I can feel as though I'm genuinely helping them out with something that might, make their life better. So that's kind of where I'm heading towards at the moment.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot too. Like I've been getting more sponsorship offers.
Yeah, man, it's tempting though, because the bag.
Yeah. But kind of to wrap things up, like this sort of like interview series I'm doing occasionally, it's like called the Outlier series. Like people who feel like they're sort of outliers. The person listening to this might be ambitious and wanting to achieve more. Like whether that's probably why they're interested in productivity and optimizing their life. But like I guess like to those people, what sort of message do you have or advice do you have for them?
I would say find metaphors that work for you in your life, and stories that work for you. For me, it was like the car thing, and I would say find role models. I might sound kind of crazy if I do say it, but I'll just say it like my main role model is like a car engine, like a very specific engine. It's the 2JZ. It's like a old Toyota engine that's pretty notorious in the drift community. So I guess like along the way I saw it myself for a long time was like I really want to be like this engine. Like I really want to be able to take a high amount of pressure while still remaining super reliable. And I want to be able to like take ideologies and like ideas and view those as like parts that I can improve my engine with, and I can improve my conscious to become like a better driver and learn how to drive my subconscious better. And like whenever I'm like running or something or like doing something hard, I'm like, I gotta be like this engine, man. Like I can't redline, but I have to be able to like, take high pressure and not explode. That's like what's important to me.
If you enjoyed this one, maybe you'll enjoy the interview I did with Ruri Ohama. But if there's anybody else that you think I should interview, let me know in the comments. I'll reply to every single comment, especially if you made it to this part of the video. But I'll see you next week in a regular video. Let's get it.